Alright, hello and welcome back. It is episode number 5 of the Tech Adventures with On Your Rogue. I'm Jeremy, aka On Your Rogue. Now, I have to be really careful when I move around here because I am on a brand new, fresh installation. Whole brand new. Everything is brand new, reinstalled. Fresh as of even just a few hours ago. I have a lot of stuff I actually need to set up on this computer, but I should say that it's not by choice. And, yeah, that's a whole story in and of itself. But my hat here, I thought I would wear it. This is actually because this is episode 5, right? Yeah, 5, yeah. Anyways, there is a show produced by Rooster Teeth over at roosterteeth.com called Day 5, and it is actually a really, really good show. Actually, everything Rooster Teeth does is pretty good. Highly recommend. In fact, about 90% of all of my garb that you'll see me wearing pretty much is Rooster Teeth. A large chunk of it is. Anywho, yes. So, unfortunately, I had to do a fresh installation over here on my primary computer, and it was unfortunately due to well, about a year ago when I first set everything up on this computer. I have a 500 gig M.2, that's my main drive, and I have Windows installed on it. Now, on a secondary 1 terabyte mechanical drive, I put Ubuntu Linux on, which of course meant that my actual boot files were now located on the 1 terabyte mechanical drive, which is no big deal because now I could dual boot, right? The little grub menu comes up and you get to choose, do you want to boot into Ubuntu or boot into Windows? Well, I had discovered a way that you could actually streamline the boot process if you primarily boot into one OS over the other. Then you can just bypass that grub boot option and go straight into that OS. So for me at the time, because I had a secondary computer already running Ubuntu, I really didn't need to dual boot. So I had a Windows and an Ubuntu system. So I didn't need a dual boot. So after about a year, quite honestly, I forgot that it was actually a dual boot system. So I took the hard drive out to put into here. Now it was actually spawned by some troubleshooting that I was required to do because I was having a crazy time getting any of the software to load into Ubuntu and then be able to install and see the graphics card. Like, it would install and it would be like it's working okay, but it wasn't working okay because nothing would actually see the video card as a valid device, even though, as far as Ubuntu was supposedly concerned, everything was installed and running correctly. So it was glitching. I don't know. It was weird. So I was trying to narrow down hardware problems, and of course, one of the first things would be, well, maybe it's just maybe it's a hard drive. I don't know. I mean, you just got to keep running through different possibilities and until you find something that works. Sounds Sounds maybe silly, but I'll tell you right now, it's not, because I actually had a system, this is about 8 years ago, that was really, really glitchy. Like, really glitchy. And it would air out and just fail and completely get hosed, and I was constantly reinstalling operating system, and it didn't matter if it was Ubuntu, because I've been a long time Ubuntu Linux fan. It's one of my main go-tos as far as the Linux community goes. But so either Ubuntu or Windows, and it would just constantly muck up for no reason whatsoever. Like, everything would get hosed, and it actually turned out to be a faulty DVD optical drive. I'm not kidding. It was a faulty DVD optical drive, and it was glitching out, and then it would hose the rest of the system. As soon as I pulled that out, I ran that computer for another 6 years before it actually got put to pasture. Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't really even get put to pasture. I gave it to a friend. So, and I don't know, they ran it for another couple of years, and then they got rid of it. So who knows? It might still be out there in the wild somewhere running and still being just fine. But yeah, it was a silly little hardware issue with an optical drive. So I don't have optical drives. That was actually the last time I've ever run an optical drive, because everything's USB based now. So there's no need. And anyways, so so yeah, so there's my squeaky chair. Still need that WD-40. So yeah, anyway, so I pulled that hard drive out and did the installed everything there, and I ended up still having the same problems. Still ended up having the same problems. Well, some of the problems that it was doing were actually solved. So I think there was something glitching out with the hard drive, but it still didn't fully work. But the most important point of this story is that this system no longer had a master boot record. It no longer had a file to tell Windows how to boot. So it was just corrupt. So I tried to take the Windows fix, restore thing off of your recovery, off the recovery options off of your installation, Windows installation disk. And no, just could not fix it. It was just corrupt. Yeah. So, unfortunately, that meant that I had to completely wipe my drive, which also is kind of painful because, there was the bulk of episode 5 was on there. That was a lot of video, and I had actually spent a lot of time working on editing it down to almost completion. I was about 90% complete with the video. And then, yeah. I don't know. It was my first edited video because these are all just one-shots. Thus far, and including this one. So that was my first actual edited video. So I was really trying to put myself into it, try to make the best quality of editing that I could. And I don't know. That's just kind of a big bummer because it's gone, and I lost a bunch of other stuff. I lost a bunch of software, like video editing software, for instance. I had 2 video editing softwares. And yeah, they're all basically licensed to an email address, a recovery email address that I no longer have access to. So that's pretty rough. because without they're gone. So that means I have to figure out something to do with video editing now. I don't know. Windows has put out the creative update. Last year's creative update had a lot of stuff to do with being able to do creative stuff. So maybe I'll give that a try. So, because that's already installed on this system. So, anyways, with that, that was my update for episode number 5. The next few episodes will divulge a little bit more information. But until then, click that like button, hit the subscribe, stick around because it is going to get so much better and so much more fun. Tell your friends, let's have fun, everybody. And remember that no matter what life throws at you, whatever life throws at you, it's a good thing.